Thank you for joining our Executive MBA Program virtual experience event. My name is Kelly Barger, and I am the Graduate Enrollment and Brand Manager for the College of Business at the University of Toledo, and I'm also joined with my colleagues.
So my name is Dr. Michael Mallin. I am the Academic Director for the MBA and Executive MBA programs. Glad to be with all of you today.
Hello, and I'm Darlene Evans. I'm the Assistant Director of the Graduate Programs Office in the College of Business and Innovation.
And Dr. Mallin's going to go ahead and start off our virtual experience here by explaining why you should consider earning an MBA or Executive MBA degree.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. So, why in the world would any of you even consider getting an MBA degree at this stage of your life or your career? Everybody's really busy. They're busy with their jobs. They're busy with their families. Well, the fact of the matter is, and we did some research on this a couple of years ago, 2015 actually, GMAC had a lot of articles and information about what some of the key qualifications are for a lot of the management positions at a broad range of employers. And what they said is that they expect their leaders to have an MBA. So what used to be a key degree at the undergraduate level, it's now a graduate level degree of an MBA, which is really required to compete in the workforce. The other thing that we found from our research is that MBAs make more money. They make more starting salaries, about 9% more than those without MBAs, and their raises or their annual earnings are about 10% more. So obviously this is a money-making proposition as well. And the biggest reason why one might want to earn an MBA degree is really to gain credibility in their role as a business leader, confidence that they can make decisions with limited amounts of information. And one of the things that an MBA trains you to do is really to get a broad perspective and to appreciate other people's point of view, which is a trait of many successful leaders. So, what does company leadership value in MBAs? Well, one of the things that company leaders expect is they want their leaders, their managers to have a broad understanding of business. So even if you're a financial a manager in the financial area or accounting or marketing or entrepreneurship or whatever it is within your organization, knowing, having a broad understanding of many of the business disciplines is very important. And one of the key traits of MBAs is that employers know and understand that MBAs have the ability to think critically. They can deal with ambiguity and make decisions with limited amounts of information, and that allows them to solve complex business problems. And really, that's what change management is all about in organizations, is being able to evaluate business dilemmas and then to formulate the best action plan. One of the things company leadership recognizes in individuals is getting a graduate degree, getting an MBA is a big accomplishment. Once again, you're balancing your work, you're balancing your families, the things you do outside of work. So getting an MBA is really considered a big deal. Now, from a financial perspective, we mentioned the fact that MBAs do earn more, and if you want to quantify it, if you think about it, taking based on an assumption of a mid-level manager's salary, and that you were to take that incremental money and invest it over the future lifetime of an employee, given maybe 25 or 30 years, because typically the average age of our executive MBAs is somewhere in their 30s. That's a very large return on your EMBA tuition investment. In fact, if you look at the tuition costs and how long it would take to pay that back, on average it would be about 3 years. So it's a solid financial investment. There's obviously a lot of money that you can make and save over your lifetime. And of course, we're assuming that you're validating these calculations by paying close attention in your finance class and learning how to calculate the time value of money. And of course, that's a joke. So if you're in the room here, you should all be laughing. All right, so we think, and our students and alumni have told us, that the University of Toledo's Executive MBA program is really one of the best in the regions. The University of Toledo Business College of Business has been rated as one of the top 100 by U.S. News and World Report. And one of the ways that we make this, one of the most family-friendly, career-friendly, and effective programs is, we focus on business transformation and relevance. The way we do this is in the classroom. It's not going to be your typical MBA class where you go to class, you're in class with 40 students who you may or may not know, you hear a lecture, you go home, you do some homework. It's not like that at all. The focus is on real-world applications. The way we do this is all the instructors and all the professors that you will be exposed to will take an approach that is contemporary, focusing you on topics that are going on in the business world, things that you might read about in the Wall Street Journal, case studies pertaining to solving business problems. And one of the things that we do is we integrate the different projects between the classes. So for example, in your entrepreneurship class, you may write a business plan. In your marketing strategy class, you might write a marketing plan to support that business plan. So it's integrative, it's progressive. One class ties in with the other. We also provide you with success coaches or executive coaching that really allows you not only to succeed in the program, but also to understand and map your career goals and help you achieve those as well. So everybody in the program gets assigned an executive coach, and that's really all part of the experience. So we really look at this as being an experiential learning environment. One of the ways that we do this is it's cohort-based, so you'll begin the program with the same members of the cohort that you will finish the program with, and you go through the program in lockstep. You'll also notice that all of the members of your cohort have relevant work experience, usually in different industries, and this is really nice because it exposes you to professionals that have relevant work experience, but in different areas. So it's a very complementary very complementary learning environment. And as we mentioned before, doing this really offers you a fast track to promotional and pay increase opportunities. So a little bit about the program overview, and then I'm going to invite our colleague here, Darlene Evans, to talk about a major component, which is the international trip. But one of the things that our students and our EMBA candidates have mentioned as one of the main benefits of the program is that it is accelerated. It's a 12-month program. It begins in October. It ends in October. The benefit there is obviously you get to the good news is that the program goes by quick. The bad news is the program goes by quick. So there's a lot of work concentrated into a year. However, because we set it up in a blended learning environment, which means we use our technology to not only deliver the coursework and connect you with your cohorts via the web, via technology, we ask you to come on campus one time during each month. So it really is family friendly because it allows you to still do the things you need to do to run your household, to be with your significant other, to be with your family, but it also allows you to fulfill all of your career goals. And then at the end, of course, it leads to your career advancement. Our students, our alumni have told us that they make exceptional contacts. The networking that they experience with other members of their cohort is irreplaceable, is very valuable. So it's a very relationship-driven program. We mentioned the executive coaching. The role of the executive coaches, again, are to help you not only succeed in the program, but also to help you to understand and help you exceed and meet your career goals. So it's a tremendous return on investment, not only for you as an individual, but also for your company, because we do recognize that in some cases your companies are contributing partially to help fund the Executive MBA. We'll talk about the international trip in a moment, but I want to give you a brief overview of what the curriculum looks like. And you can see that really the year is divided into 4 sections. We call these semesters, but they're really they're shorter than a typical semester. They last about 12 weeks. So in the first 12 weeks, we call it the first fall, you can get an idea of the type of courses that you'll be taking. So you'll be exposed to entrepreneurship, accounting, and global culture. In the second semester, you'll be exposed to accounting, supply chain. And we'll come back to the special topics in a moment because this is something new to our curriculum, which will be a part of your experience. In the third term, in the summer session, you'll be exposed to marketing, global technology management, and another special topics class. And then in the final segment, or the final semester, you'll wrap it up with leadership, strategic management capstone, and you'll be in a class that prepares you for your international trip. Now, I mentioned I'd talk about the special topics. This is new to the curriculum this year, and actually, this is the second year of it being new. This past year was the first time we offered this. But you and your cohort will decide during your orientation which 2 or possibly 3 electives you would like to be part of your curriculum. We have right now in the books 5 or 6 different courses that will be offered as special topic electives for your cohort. The challenge will be for you and your cohort to figure out which 2 or 3 you want to take. The reason why I say 2 or 3 is because it's a total of 6 credit hours. So if you take 3 special topics classes, those are 2 hours each. If you take 2 special topics classes, those will be 3 hours each. Just to give you an idea of what some of those electives are, this past year those were business ethics, prevention of deceptive and fraudulent practices, product development. There was also a course offered in strategic brand management and conflict and negotiation. So that just gives you a sampling and a flavor of what some typical special topic electives might look like. Now, I promised you that we would tell you about the international trip, which is a very exciting component of the program. It is built into the costs, no extra charge, and I'm going to invite Darlene Evans, our Assistant Director, to talk about that trip.
Okay, so the purpose of the study trip is to really allow you the opportunity to validate everything you've learned in the program up until that point. So in their very first term of the program, we'll start to prepare you by looking at the cultural, historical developments of different regions of the world. And as we continue through the program and get closer to your study trip, we'll start to focus in on the actual destination of your trip. The study trip is a portion of one of your final classes, and in that class you'll be asked to do research on the companies that we'll visit when we are overseas. And you'll have the opportunity to report your findings back to your classmates so that everyone participating on the trip will have some exposure to the companies. You also will have an opportunity to develop some questions that you would like to ask. When we are overseas, we'll actually visit the companies. We'll also hear from the top strategic managers of those organizations so that you can get an on-the-ground, first-hand experience of some of the dilemmas and some of the challenges that those companies are facing. You may even have an opportunity to do a live case, which means that you will be working with your classmates and possibly with other MBA students in that destination to work on a real live case problem for 1 or 2 companies. The way we select the destination, there are 2 things that go into that decision. One is the contacts that the instructor has with companies in that region. This is the most important part of the trip, and that is the contact that you make with the companies. The second component of that decision is based on looking at emerging economies. Safety is also a consideration, and some of the past locations have been to most Western European countries. We've also been to China, Japan, South Africa, and Turkey. The most recent classes have gone to Finland, Estonia, and Russia. The determination for the study trip in fall 2018 has not yet been decided, but we expect that decision to be made early in the program during that first term. We also make sure that you have some fun on that trip. So we plan a number of cultural activities, and the purpose of that is not just to have a tourist experience, but to get you outside of your comfort zone so that you can experience what it's like to live and work in some of the destinations. And this shows you some of the students on some of the recent study trips.
All right, so One thing that is very nice about the program is that there is one fee. Everything's included. We mentioned that the international study trip does not have any additional fees associated with that. The textbooks and supplemental reading material is also included, so you will not need to take the time to go online and try to find the textbooks and compare prices and all of that. We will do that for you. We will provide the technical and classroom support. There will be student, faculty, and university liaisons for you. We provide all of the meals and refreshments during the on-campus weekends for you, so that way you don't need to worry about what you're going to have for lunch. We'll go ahead and we'll take care of that. We will also take care of your course registration and parking fees, so you will not need to do that as well. So everything really is included with that. So for the admissions guidelines, we do look for students to have 3 to 5 years of managerial or professional experience. We look for an undergraduate GPA of about 2.7 or higher. The GMAT can be waived for some candidates, so be sure to talk to us about your specific situation. And we also look for personal and management characteristics, and that is one of the most important aspects for admissions into the program. So for the application procedure, you are going to send to the Executive MBA office your application and fee of $45. You can wait until the interview if you want to bring the check for the $45 in at that time. That's not a problem. We'll need a copy of your resume. There's an employer nomination form and employer sponsorship form. We'll need 2 letters of recommendation. For those of you that are self-employed, we'll do 3 letters of recommendation because you are considered your own employer. We will need official transcripts and then the GMAT potentially if required. So thank you very much for joining us on our virtual experience event. You will find our contact information listed on this slide, and please do not hesitate to reach out to us for any questions that you have, and we will be happy to answer those for you. Thanks a lot and have a great day.